Hello and welcome to Money Matters. In the last several months, the metaverse has become big news, with Facebook claiming a stake in it, as well as companies like Louis Vuitton and Gucci entering the space. So, what is the metaverse? It's basically Web 3.0, where the internet is more interactive. Online shopping will mean a virtual walk through the shops and seeing products in 3D. I finally got to travel after 2 long years to the metaverse.
Welcome to the Metaverse. This is Liberland, a micronation that exists in the real world as a 7-kilometer stretch of land between Croatia and Serbia.
Here that we are looking at, this is the city hall. This is where all are going to be made, so the avatars will come here.
While it's not recognized in the real world as a nation, its founder, a political activist, is creating a government, currency, and infrastructure in the metaverse.
In the future, what they are planning to do is to build this whole city in the real world as well. So everything that they are doing in the metaverse, it's serving 2 purposes. First of all, the citizens will be able to interact with each other and be together while the actual micronation is being built. And also proof of concept for them, because they can refine the buildings, they can modify them as they go.
And what's the cost of building something like this?
I would say $2 million. It's less than $10 million for sure. Mm-hmm. But in the real life, this will be like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Jaime Lopez, co-founder of Mytaverse, said his company started creating events in the metaverse last year, shortly after the pandemic shut down a lot of travel. Originally set up as a pre-visualization tool for companies to see what they were building in a virtual setting before committing to building in the real world, they pivoted to virtual events in real time and found success. Jeff Lowe, CEO of Asian Sky Group, held a trade show and conference in the metaverse for the air industry last September.
And we held our first event just in September of this year, which was a 3-day event. And the normal thing that you expect in any trade show, people walking the aisles and just bumping into people. And then also a conference as part of that as well, with a big auditorium.
With 1,200 unique visitors, it was less than their usual number. But Jeff said they considered it a success, as it was a first for them and many of their clients and visitors in the metaverse.
The objective, again, of giving people the opportunity to get together and just have what would seem like a natural interaction, we were able to accomplish that.
With that, I invited myself to Jeff's bubble in the metaverse for my first travel in 2 years.
Can I check out your conference hall and your auditorium in the metaverse?
I'll be happy to take you on a tour of the metaverse.
Hey, Jeff. Good to see you here.
Hi, Melissa. As promised, here we are in the lobby of Mytaverse.
This is a big lobby.
In this metaverse, there is only one speed, running. So we took a quick tour around some of the spaces. Just outside the auditorium, you get a great view of this waterfall. And we entered a pretty impressive auditorium. I was hoping, since I was super fit and could run everywhere in this world, that I could leap onto the stage, but I was mistaken.
And did people really notice the difference between being in a meeting here versus being in a Zoom meeting?
Oh yeah, totally. And that's partly because here, you're actually all sitting in a room together, where just like you and I are doing right now, I can turn to my left or turn to my right and see who I'm sitting next to. So you have that spontaneity here, which is what we all look for and where we get value from exhibitions and conferences.
Just like any trade show, there's rent to pay for exhibit booths. At this one, the price was 1/10 that of an in-person trade show. So what exactly are you paying for?
We took up space, and so we had to pay a fee for that allotment in the metaverse. And then there was also The Mytaverse people, the streaming, is another cost that you pay for. The customization, if you wanted to create your own special world as well, that had an added cost as well, because that would involve additional designers. I had a contract with the Mytaverse people, and so I was paying for the conference hall and the auditorium and everything else, but then the exhibitors, they paid for their booth.
Jaime says some of the real estate drivers in Mytaverse are different than the real world.
It's servers, the machines that are actually doing all the computing power behind it to keep the world alive. That's how we calculate it. So the more space you need, the more servers you need, the amount of players that you are going to bring, the more users you want to bring simultaneously, the servers needs to be more powerful too. Servers are going to be a commodity in the future.
Plane maker Dassault had a showroom built along with 3D replicas of their planes to show clients.
I found it very necessary because of this very abnormal situation of the COVID expanding worldwide and suppressing all transportation, no airline services, a lot of uncertainty into the healthy way of traveling. In Asia and elsewhere, we need to make them certain that they will buy the right product, they will be supported, they will have a long-term relationship, and this doesn't come in a second. You need to have people seeing your face in your product, testing the product, sitting to realize that it's comfortable and able to make them okay for a 12-15 hours flight.
We popped over to their Metaverse showroom and hopped on board a Falcon 6X corporate jet, which comes with a price tag of about $55 million US.
So, Jean-Michel, this is one of your latest planes. Can you tell me about it?
It's indeed our most recent plane that we have in the final stages of certification. It will be delivered new within the next few months. This airplane main characteristic is its extremely comfortable cabin, very wide, very tall, very long, which can accommodate up to comfortably 16 people.
They've had a few visitors to the jet and are currently in serious talks with one of them.
And we are still in negotiation with one of them, and a very hot negotiation, a person that is really worth dealing with in terms of the size of its company, but also it's very interested in concluding at some point soon. We may close the deal.
Michel says it doesn't quite meet the standards of an in-person experience, but given the situation, it's satisfactory.
There are many things that need still to be improved, and we know the way to make them better in the next time, but globally it was satisfying. You could go around the aircraft, you could not really touch it, not really smell it, but still you could see it and evaluate the proportions, the dimensions. You could enter the cabin and go down the aisle, the restrooms, or up to the flight deck, and it was very, very satisfactory.
He says that the convenience of being able to show clients around the virtual jet, while travel is prohibitive and they can't easily fly the jet over for demonstrations, makes it worth the investment. Plus, he expects the experience to be improved in the future.
This is the first iteration. What's the next? I mean, will we be wearing VR goggles?
Yes, the future is definitely going into and creating devices that are very light, that are only with a display system, a camera, and a Wi-Fi. By doing that, the goggles are going to become very, very light.
With the metaverse advancing seemingly at light speed, or at least crypto speed, we can expect interaction in this space to become more virtual and augmented reality immersive in a few years' time.